Okay, we have new nuts and bolts. We have rebuilt rock guards. We have new hold downs and whatnot. Hopefully we can actually get something done on this today. And I have to figure out real quick how exactly looks like you have to take the shoe off. Where's the second rivet? This is the stationary knife that needs replaced right here. So we got to figure out how to do that real quick. But I've been sick as a dog. I mean, I'm really sick for the last 2 days, and then just as quick as it came on, it kind of went away. I'm still not 100%, but I'm a lot better than I was especially yesterday. But there's something going around. Mom was sick, then Dad was sick. My boss's family's been sick. I was just down at Helena. There's a bunch of guys down there been sick. I was down at the elevator to talk about doing some contracting. There's a bunch of people down there been sick. Seems like everybody's been sick. So apparently it's just that time of year. Which, before we get into this, one thing I wanted to talk about, the Helena that I deal with down in New Carlisle, Indiana. They have a bunch, I shouldn't say a bunch, I think right now they've got five job postings. They've been having a hard time finding people. I shouldn't say they've been having a hard time finding people. They've been having a hard time finding people willing to work. They've been looking since last year, and they've had several people that'll show up and work for a couple days and then just quit showing up, and they've had a couple people that keep getting stolen by other locations for some reason. But anyway, they have a few positions open for some seasonal truck drivers. You do not need a CDL, but you just need, they call it a farm CDL. I'm assuming it's what Michigan calls an F endorsement. I would think it'd be the same in Indiana, but maybe Indiana calls it a farm CDL. I don't know. And you don't need it. They'll help you, or you do need it, but if you don't have it, they'll help you get it. They have a opening for a full-time opening for a blender operator, and I think they're looking for an applicator. But I told them I'd help in any way I could, and I figured since I have more than a few people in the local vicinity that watch, if there's anybody looking for a decent job, or if I got any, and I know there's usually a bunch of older semi-retired guys that are looking for something to do in the summer to make a little extra spending money. I will tell you that, you know, this is a situation you run into working in an elevator or a fertilizer plant like that, or whatever have you. The hours in the go season tend to suck. That's partly why. I mean, it takes a breed of guy to work there. But if you're looking for a good crew to work with, I mean, the guys that are down there, I don't think you could ask for a better group of guys. They are fun as hell to work with. So if you're looking for a work environment that's just you're gonna have a good time working there. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna say it's a place where you're gonna look forward to going to work every day for the sake of going to work every day, but you're gonna look forward to seeing the guys every day. Go on Helena.com, or Helena.com. There's a careers page, and you can search for New Carlisle, the New Carlisle location, and apply for the job applications on there. Like I say, if there's anybody looking, I told them I would help them in any way I could, and I figured this would be something that might help out find a few people. So I just wanted to mention that before we got too far into the video here. So anyhow, I guess before I start putting guards on, we are going to attack this knife. So I need to take the shoe off, and it'd probably be easiest just to take the whole crop divider off. There's supposed to be a second rivet in there, but I don't see it. Okay, I found the second rivet. It was just full of crap. So driving these out could prove to be slightly interesting, just by the nature of where they're at. You can't really get to them. Going from the bottom would kind of suck because you got no way to hold it. Well, that was easier than I thought it'd be. I might be against it. I didn't want to slide it too far out to begin with and risk cracking the casting. But I also didn't figure they would drive out that easy. Okay, I got the new knife on, rivets are in. I got it clamped with a piece of flat stock so to keep everything, because there's no way to get any sort of handle in there. Might have to come up with a better way to hold it. Okay, I was able to add some more shim material in here and got a second clamp on it, which sturdied it up quite a bit. Still doesn't leave you a whole lot of room to work. All right. That knife's on. That one's a bugger. That's definitely not one you want to have to change in the field if you don't have to. So anyway, with that done, we can start putting some guards on, finally. I never figured when I started this it would take, what's it been now, almost 3 weeks since I brought this thing over here. Trying to hunt down the right parts for it. It goes so much easier when shit just fits. Okay, all the guards and hold downs and ledger plates are installed. Only the guards that don't intermesh with the ledger plate and hold down are tight. Left everything else loose so we don't fight it going in. Since we don't know how tight everything's going to end up being since all this is new to the bar. So also, I think once this is all said and done, I'm going to end up taking a grinder and zipping the corners off of these hold downs, because that's a really stupid way to shape a hold down. It leaves a gap because the ledger plate is angled back like you would expect, and the hold downs are angled. It just seems like a good way to have a bunch of shit catching. So once everything's set where it's going to be, I'll probably end up taking the grinder and the cutoff wheel and matching the angle on the ledger plate onto the hold down and zipping them off so that they got a back angle to them, so we don't have a grass catch there. That just seems like a stupid design on their part, but need the high lift hold downs for the bolt-on sickles. So anyway, I'll go down and grab the bar and we'll slide that in. There ain't a whole lot that I wear gloves for, but welding and installing sickles. I wear heavy welding gloves for this because one wrong move, and especially on these new knives, this thing will slice you open faster. You know what happened. There we go. Now, I gotta go through and I'm gonna end up losing my voice before the end of the day. You want your adjustable ledger plates as far forward as they can go so that it pushes the knives into the ledger knives, or so that it pushes the backbone of the cutter bar into the back of the ledger knives, and that doesn't let any grass or whatever pressure shove the bar back, and that helps maintain quality of cut. So got to go through and tap all those forward, and that will also determine where the hold downs end up, because those have these little ears on them that obviously rest on the back of the knives. So that's the next step, and then once as we set those, we can tighten everything up. And then once it's all tight, then it'll come down to adjusting the hold downs, which on this style of hold down, you just take them loose bend them up or down, whatever you need to do to get your tension, and put them back on. There's not really a whole lot fancy to it. Okay, so now that everything's tight, the cutter bar is in a bind because everything's brand new, everything's too tight. So it's going to be a little bit of a trial and error type deal, because just looking at it, I noticed that I have some rock guards that either need bent up or bent down depending on where you're at. And obviously, well, that one's not too bad. That one's not too bad. So that one's too tight. That one's not terrible. That one's tight. Tight. A little tight. Really tight. Really tight. So, when you go through and adjust these, the book doesn't actually give a spec. I just got a 10 thousandths feeler gauge. Even that might be a touch too much clearance. But basically, you want them to be snug, but not so tight that they put the cutter bar in a bind, because all that's going to do is wear out it'll wear grooves in the top of the knives, and it will wear out your hold downs faster because of the pressure. Which, when I took this thing apart, I don't know if I actually showed it that well, but the bar was in a bind. Actually, they're right here. I can show you my and unfortunately the knives are already gone, so I can't show them to you, but the hold downs were basically hard down against the cutter bar, and you could see there's galling, and it wore grooves in the top of the knives. Basically all that's going to do is suck horsepower, make it not cut worth a shit, and yeah, so basically you want it a little snug, but you don't want it in excess, because then all it's going to do is rob performance from the mower. So that one I'd say is good. That one I'd say is good, so we're going to start with that one. And the book is very adamant that you do not make any adjustments on these while they're on the bar, because if you try bending these while they're on the bar, you could very well bend your sickles, and that's counterproductive. Just slipping in the vise. This little strengthening girt they put in there's a little, you don't want to bend it back here, you want to bend it here, but I guess since that's there, you can't really, it won't bend there because that's there, so in theory. Nope. So basically that's the process. I ain't gonna waste time showing you the whole spiel, but take it off, give it a whack, put it back on, try it, keep going until it fits, basically. Okay, I went through Tell you what, this right this right here is why you jump right over a sickle mower and just go right for a diskbine if you're going to mow any amount of hay. So much shit to adjust. I got most of these taken care of, at least the first go around of adjustment. Now it's these little mini hold downs for the back of the bar that are the trouble. When they formed it, they didn't put a deep enough step in them, so they're pinching the back of the bar. So I already went through on them once with the cutoff wheel on a grinder and cut a little bit of a relief in the back. And now I got it where it's not really in a bind. It's still partially in a bind, but I can at least get it to move. So I'm going to have to go back through and do another round of it and cut the relief a little deeper until they let go of the sickle. But the little bit of stamina that I had for the day is finally leaving me, so I think I'm going to go ahead and call her quits here for the day, and we'll come back at her tomorrow, because tomorrow the other half of the battle begins. Gonna have to go through and start, once we get the pressure off of the sickle, or off of the cutter bar, we're gonna have to go through and start adjusting the rock guards up or down or whatever, so that they're intermeshing with the knives correctly, because some of them are bent down, some of them are bent up. And then once we get all those leveled out, then we got to go back through and do all these again. So, but the vast majority of them are bent down slightly, which has got me wondering if that's why the original hold downs were so damn tight on the bar. It's got me wondering if whoever went through and did the setup on this thing initially way back in the day didn't take the time to adjust the rock guards to the bar. They just noticed that the sickle had to tilt down to mesh with the rock guards correctly. So rather than doing all the adjustments, they just bent all the hold downs down to tilt the bar forward, and that's why everything was so tight. So anyhow, we'll come back at you tomorrow, and hopefully I'm in a little better shape. Alright, finally feeling a little bit better today. I've already worked ahead a little bit. I pulled the bar back off of, or pulled the sickle back off the cutter bar, because I realized when I was thinking about how I needed to do this today that I got ahead of myself, and what we should have done was went through and checked all the guards for flat first, and then put the cutter bar in, and then moved on from there. So, basically what I can do is you take straight edge here. The book says to sight down the bar. I don't know how the hell you do that, because even just sitting there on the shoes, the bar has a sag in the middle. Don't know how you can sight down the bar, but anyway, you can take a straight edge and lay it on the ledger plate and look. And basically what I came up with is this little stack of shims here is the right thickness, that if you lay it on here and then put this under the back, which is telling me that that guard right there is actually tipped up just a hair. That guard there is tipped down just a hair. That one there's about right. That one needs to tip or go down. So basically that's what I came up with for checking them. And they're kind of all over the place. Some of this could have happened just from use. Some of it could have happened, we could have tweaked them, putting the new ledgers in, beating the old rivets out. So, but this is where I should have started off yesterday if I'd have been thinking ahead. But this is my first go around ever working. I mean, I've done combine sickles before, but they're a little bit more forgiving than this. So, I guess I'll go through, well, I can grab a hammer here. So like that one there, we need to go down. I might need a bigger hammer. The other thing I'm going to run into, I might need to get, hold on here, see if a block of wood's enough to take some of the spring out of it so I can get a decent hit. Well, that's neat. Must be the finest bolts China can produce, huh? Stupid. Yeah, good thing I got a couple extras. Okay, now that one's good. Took that one too far. Worst part is when you got to hit them the other way. When I get down a little bit, I can flip the bar up and put it in transport, and then you can knock them both ways, but out here it's damn near too tall. But anyway, that's the process. Just go down through here and fine tune them till they're all in line with the backbone of the cutter bar. Okay, got all the rack guards leveled off. There were some of them were pretty bad. The vast majority of them, I figured they'd be tipped down. The vast majority of them were actually tipped up. Some to the point where if you laid a straight edge on here, you were touching the back of the bar. So that was pretty significant. So anyhow, ready to put the ledger plates and hold downs back on so we could slide the bar back. I slid the bar back in loose just to check. It does slide in and out a lot easier. But the bar itself's got so many whoop-de-doos in it from being handled, it's hard to... It looks decent, it's just hard to get a... You're going to need the hold down to get it right. But before we do that, while I get everything apart, I'm going to clip the corners on these things so that they're shaped right. So I just laid a ledger plate on the back and mark the corners to clip them. So do that real quick. Okay, we are definitely on the right track to success. Everything's tight. The bar is still, I wouldn't call it bound now. It's not bound anymore. It's just tight because now I can get a full revolution out of it. It's just snug. But that being said, this is fully extended. Knife register's correct. We pull it all the way retracted. Knife register's correct, so register is spot on. Which register is the correct correlation of the knives to the guards in between strokes. So basically, this knife in a stroke, you want it to go from the center of this guard to the center of this guard and back. That's how you get your full cut out of a knife. So I still think I do have some guards that are a little on the snug side, although looking, since I've been able to roll it over, so this one's probably a little tight because it's leaving a scuff mark. That one's probably a little tight because it's leaving a scuff mark, but I think that the vast majority of my problem is still these little guys on the back. They put way too much radius in that corner, and it draws down on the back of the knife, or on the back of the knives, and pinches it. They should have bent that more square, which it doesn't even need to necessarily touch the back of the knife back here, because that's the ledger plate's job, is to keep everything forward. This is to keep, or the job of this section right here is to keep the knives down against the guards. Really, all these things are doing is keeping it from somehow getting pulled up and pushed back, so they just need to be lightly touching on top. They don't even need to be touching here, so they could have done something different here. But anyway, so I'm going to go through and do some more fine-tuning. I promise I feel better than I sound today. Go through and do some more fine-tuning on those hold downs, and hopefully we can get her here in the next few minutes, because it's close. Okay, we're just about wrapped up here. After it was all said and done, I actually had to go through on several of the hold downs and push them back down, where yesterday we had to pick them up. Kind of odd how that worked out, but I think 7 might be, yeah, possibly 8. But anyhow, should have started on them guards first. Well, if I'd have got the book out yesterday like I should have, the book tells you to start with the guards first, but if I'd have started with the guards first, we probably could have had most of this done yesterday. But the way I was feeling yesterday, I wasn't necessarily thinking about all that. I was more thinking about how much I didn't want to be here. But not being here didn't get the work done. And I was tired of sitting in the house. Although I did go to work yesterday, but I wasn't going to just come home and sit around. I want a little bit more on that. The other thing I'm doing today that I didn't do yesterday is I'm doing these, obviously one at a time, but get one, get it set, roll the mower over, make sure it didn't change anything drastic, so that we can know as we change things what's putting tension on the bar where, so that we're not doing everything and then getting it put together and having the bar bound up, and it's okay, we got to trace back to the problem child. Also, these things do not bend as easy as you'd think they would, for the thin material they're made out of. There we go, I like that. Yeah, we'll put a little bit more on 8 and call her good. That's the other thing I did. I numbered them all, it makes things, I don't know. Granted, there's only 9 of them, but still having a number on them just seems to make it easier as things progress. Alright, I'm satisfied enough that I put all the tools away. The sickles are laying on the ledger knives fairly decent. There's some that are gapped a little bit, but I went through, I stood the bar up, went through and tapped the ones shut that were open a little bit. So I don't know, at this point, just gonna have to see how it cuts. And it's obviously gonna have to wear in a little bit because there's paint on all them hold downs and rust and whatnot, so it's probably gonna limber up, and we might have to go through and tighten everything back up after you mow with it once. But it rolls over nice. It's a little stiff, but it's not terrible. You don't got to put a whole lot of effort into it. And the more times you roll it over, the better it gets. So, like I say, you just have to wear the rust off everything and get the paint off and let everything get situated to its new home, and then go from there. So I think we're going to call it for today. Tomorrow we can get it on a tractor and get everything, get the hitch all, it's pretty well roughed in for the most part, but get the hitch set up and get the lead angle on the bar set and all that stuff. So, and then get it out of here so that we can move on to the next project. So, but that's going to be its own video. So, with that being said, that's it for this one, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.